As an openly gay man, something that I've realized along the way is that a lot of straight men seemingly are really into the flirtation of my friendship, and then, seemingly, walk away from it. I've said seemingly a few times, but I've talked to other people about this situation, and a lot of people tell me that it's because of the confidence that I have and that I live my life so openly and uncaringly that it attracts those kinds of things. But I didn't know if you had any other thoughts or
Well,
suggestions.
tell me what you mean, that they flirt with you. They're straight guys. They don't seem interested in men, but they enjoy a kind of repartee flirtation with you. I can get that. But what I didn't understand is you said, and then they kind of go away. What do you mean by that?
Well, so like if in any relationship, so you develop feelings, you develop whatever. It's like they go all in, and then when it comes time to really commit, it sort of becomes I'm straight, I'm not a part of that.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
There's a physical.
So when you're saying when they're flirting with you, like how far does the flirting go? I thought you just meant like joking around, but you mean no. Going all the way there.
It goes pretty far.
Like how far?
It goes to the point of, it's not physical in the sense that we're sharing a bed, but it goes to the point that I've kissed a couple guys. And
really?
Yeah. And it's
so they're just ambivalent. They're ambivalent about their sexuality. Maybe they're bisexual or in denial and really gay, but they are not okay with either of those. They are committed to identifying as heterosexual because of their own fears of judgment or hell and damnation or rejection or whatever their reason is. And so I think, I'm sure your confidence is attractive, but I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is that you're pursuing sexual relationships with men who are straight or identify as straight. Why, I would suggest that you stop doing that and you focus on men who know who they are and are, aren't identified for themselves and for the world as heterosexual.
Yeah.
Because those guys may still be attracted to you. There may be a part of them that knows that they want to be with you, but they're not. And even if you were to have sex with them, that doesn't mean that you would have a relationship with them, So why are you messing with those people?
It's a good question.
What's the answer? Do you know?
I think the answer has to do with attention, number one. When you get attention from any realm, it's whether positive or negative, it feels good to be noticed.
Well, do you get attention from gay men?
Probably not in the way that I get it from the latter.
Why?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know.
See, I don't think that's true. I think you're not investing the flirtatious energy in gay men, first of all, that you are in heterosexual men. And I'm going to take you one further, and this is just a gut feeling I have, but I'm usually not wrong when I get these kinds of gut feelings. So just open yourself to the question. Okay. Is it possible that as much as it annoys you and it's disappointing and feels rejecting, that going after men who identify as heterosexual and are therefore unavailable to you as a gay man, right, in theory, is there something about repeatedly committing your attention and efforts toward men who you can't really have? Is there something in that for you, in that this is a pattern for you from your earlier life of needing to prove to yourself as a result of your traumas and rejections and abandonments in earlier life, to prove to yourself that you're really wanted? If you can get a straight man to want you and commit to you in some way, then you can finally kind of close the book and feel better about yourself. So it's a version of what I often talk about on the show is repetition compulsion, right? Like the woman who keeps going after the cheating men, the man who keeps going after the partners who are addicts, even if they don't seem like addicts at first, because we're trying to work out our old childhood wounds. So if you had a lot of earlier life rejections, abandonments, not being good enough for, hypercriticism, stuff like that, then you are going to direct your romantic attention more likely to people who can't fundamentally return it in the way you deserve.
Holy shit. Can I just stop you for a second and say thank you for that? Like, seriously, thank you for that. I mean,
you're welcome.
Wow. Wow. it opened a big part of my mind just now into something that I want to appreciate you saying, but to something I had never pieced in my mind myself. So, wow, that was a big opening door for me.
Good.
And I don't know if this phone call does anything, but what is the work on that besides the cold turkey of telling yourself or telling myself, don't go after this person who's claiming to be what they are, even though they continue the attention.
So your problem, you have two issues that you want to work on in therapy, okay? One is self-worth, worthiness of love, and attached to that, fear of commitment. Because it's like the woman who's always going after married men. You know, there's a part of you that knows it's not going to work out and therefore can give your full force flirtation, blah, 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 because it's safe. You know, it's not really going to require full-on vulnerability and emotional intimacy from you. A relationship with another gay man that is the kind of relationship that your heart truly desires is going to require that of you. And I don't think you feel safe. As much as you're outgoing and cute and fun and flirtatious, that is a facade over someone who is really scared of intimacy, emotional intimacy, because you can get hurt. And who's really scared of emotional vulnerability because your vulnerability was never taken care of and respected when you were growing up. So you probably need to do a little bit of trauma work, or at least around emotional trauma. My guess is you had a family that was really rejecting, abandoning, and critical, and you internalized a lot of that. And there's some trauma related to that around fear of intimacy. So you keep going after the people who really can't give it to you so that it won't be demanded of you. And so I think your work is really in exploring in therapy. It's about building it's not only, the biggest step is identifying the pattern and going quote unquote cold turkey, but also starting to reinvest your flirtatious and fun and playful energy toward gay men.
Yeah.
Right? And that's going to be scary for you. Much more scary, because at least if the straight guy rejects you, it's because he's straight, not because of you. At least you can tell yourself that. Right? If a gay man rejects you, you're more likely, even though it probably is still about him, not about you, but you're going to think it's about you. So you're going to be less likely to take those risks, flirting, playing, coming on to with gay men, because you don't have a good out if they reject you. So that is where I would start putting your attention, okay?
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for all of that. It really, for me personally, it really opened a door in my mind to understanding a little bit more about, my repetitive behavior and where I can get some support. So really, thank you.
You are so welcome. Look for a therapist who specializes in family of origin issues and or someone who does somatic experiencing, okay? Because that's a form of trauma work I think you'd like. All right, my love, good luck. Keep us posted on how it goes. And just practice with some low-stakes gay men, like a gay man who you're attracted to but don't necessarily think you can fall in love with. Practice flirting with him, because that'll be less scary than flirting with a guy who you might really want to fall in love with.